Okay, so I'm back again. I added a few things to this menu. Um, I've coded it. I've got the start button working. All right, so the first thing I added was this canvas. So you can just right click, go to UI, and add canvas. And in this canvas, I added a panel called fade out. I'll show you about that in a minute. First thing you want to do is make sure that this canvas is set to sort order of 0 and scale with screen size. Okay, and now this fade out, let me turn it on. All right, so you can see that it's way up here. I made this little image in Photoshop. Not Photoshop, actually, Krita, because Photoshop kept shooting out arrows. And let me move Krita here. Same in Photoshop. All you do is go to your gradient tool um, and select a black color, transition into a clear, non-opaque color, and just drag it down, and it'll make the thing. Then save it as a ping. I got this one is saved at, or the size of this one is 1920 by 1080. It seems to work nice. Anyway, that's how I got this image, and then I just stretched it so that it would cover the entire screen. All right. So when I have an animation on it, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. So when I press the start button, this is what it does. All right, it's looping right now because I'm not in play. So anyway, the way that I did that was you go to Window, uh, Animation, Animation. All right, and that's going to bring up this window. I had it on a different screen because that's how I roll. Um, so the way that you want to do this is first move this into the position that you want it to be in. Okay, and then make sure you have it selected. And this will let me select something else so I'll show you what this looks like. So it'll have an animation window like this once it's selected, since you don't have anything, any animations created. So click Create. This window will pop up in your Assets folder. Make sure you have an Animations folder. In your Animations folder, go into it and save it as Fade In or Fade Out. I saved this as Fade In, Fade Out, excuse me. And then what you want to do is you want to bring this little white line over to wherever you want it. I have it at 2 seconds, I think. And then hit the record button. Okay, so I'm going to move it back to here actually so I can show you what it does. Click your move tool, and when you move it, it automatically sets a keyframe. So all you have to do is have it set its position, and then come to the end of the animation where you want it to end, and just move it down. This is going to be way too much, and I'm going to undo it, but watch. So it automatically puts it there when you're on record. So I'm going to take it off of record and make sure that my animation works the way it's supposed to. All right, and you just want it to cover everything. And now in your animations folder, find your screen out that you just did. I don't think you have to double click it, but move this out of the way. And there is a loop time box. All right, make sure that it's unchecked so that it does not loop. Okay, so this is the beginning of this. All right, so let's go to our menu. Our main menu controller. Okay. So we have several variables here. We have float, fade time. First off, you want to make sure that you're using scene management. We'll probably end up using UI too, but most of the time it really doesn't involve that unless you're doing a lot of different elements with it, but we're going to keep it simple. So anyway, we have fade time. That's the time that animation takes. We have, which I'm going to go ahead and set equal to 2 because mine took 2 seconds. Pay attention to how many seconds your animation is, and that's the number you want to put here. All right, so we have a game object start panel because we're going to be turning that on and off eventually, but we want to just have it there. We have the fade panel. We want that to come on and off. All right, and then we have scene to load. So that's what we're going to load, the scene that we're going to load. Okay, so I created this method, not start, but start game, public void start game. All right, and in this I did what is called a coroutine, coroutine. And anyway, I called it start transition. So this has to return some sort of time. Okay. In this, I set my fade panel to true, and then I'm going to wait. So yield return new, wait for seconds, fade time. So I'm going to wait until this panel is finished animating. Then I'm going to load my scene asynchronously. And what that means is that I'm loading the scene in the background as this scene is still working. And when that's done, it's just going to switch scenes. Now our scene is small, so it's not going to take that long, and that's okay. Now, and that's all I have for this code. Now, I changed something, so we got to wait. So you want your fade out panel to be deactivated so that it doesn't start its animation. All right. And in your main menu canvas, I named this the main menu. Yours might still say canvas, and I named this the start panel. I can't remember what I had it named before, but it was the panel we created for the buttons and everything. On our start button, so find your start button and click this little plus right here, and it'll bring up a little menu like this. What you want to do is bring your main menu that has your menu controller attached to it and move it here. And this is what will happen. It'll say no function. Alright, but what you want to do is click on this little drop down menu and go to menu controller and find your start game function that you created. And there you go. And now when you click the start button, it'll work. But I'm not going to do that. You go ahead and test that out. It'll work as long as you have your scene to load in here correctly. So in order to do that, you got to make sure that you have your main menu scene. Let's go to our scenes folder. Where is it? Right there. Make sure you have your main menu in the 0 slot. So just drag it up here to the 0 slot. We're getting ready to create a loading scene, so if you want to go ahead and create that now, we're going to drag that to the middle slot. And the way you create it is right click, create scene, and name it loading scene or whatever you want to name it. And then we're going to have our level 1 below that, which we're going to load the scenes in order for now, but eventually we'll probably have a scene loading menu where we'll select what scene we want to load. Okay, so anyway, now that you've created your loading scene, this is what we're going to do. As a matter of fact, we're going to stop. No, we're not going to stop. All right, this is what we're going to do. Save that. Save all that. So in our loading scene, this is what I have. A canvas. With a panel. All right, I have an image, which is this image here that I called bar. Loading bar probably would be better, so let me just rename it. Loading bar. Sometimes you just have to rename stuff. I got my health bar test image in there. Change my image type to field, horizontal, and it's going to load like that. Now our scene is small, so it's probably not going to take any time whatsoever to load. All right, and then I have this loading text here. It says loading, and I have 3 periods. Okay, this is just a dirty way of doing this a little bit. And then I have this 100% number over here. All right, so on my loading text, I also have an animation. Let me open my animation window again. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Animation. Okay, so on this, I recorded it again. Okay, and then every 20 seconds, so I'll move to 20 seconds. First off, let me say this. I took all my periods that I have here and made them inactive. So the way you would do that is select all of them. Select all your periods. Make sure you hit record, and then just hit your button here. Okay. Then when I got to 20 seconds, I activated the first period. 20 seconds. This is not 20 seconds. This is so this is half a second, and so this is like a little bit under a quarter of a second. A little bit over a quarter of a second, excuse me. All right, so 40 seconds. I made this next one become active, and then at a 1 second, I made them all active, and then I repeated that whole. So if you select it right here, whatever key you want to copy, whatever keyframe you want to copy, you can come over here and just right click and add key, and it'll add another key of all the frames in this animation. So anyway, this is what it looks like. Let me let you see it on the. So this is what that looks like. All right, and that's all the animation on the screen. Okay, so I created a script called loading menu. Open that up, and it looks a whole lot like what we just did. Image bar, serialized field, image bar. We're using UI, scene management, and Text Mesh Pro. All right, the Text Mesh Pro UGUI, and then the string scene to load. All right, so we're going to start this coroutine that we made. iEnumerator load level async. Let's spell it correctly. All right. Async operation, async equals scene manager dot load scene async scene to load, just like we did before. This time though, while not async is done, that's what that exclamation point. If I haven't said before, that's what that exclamation point means. Not. All right. We're going to have loading text equal to quotation marks plus. So you have to have this here in order to put this float in there. Plus async operation. Let me put this in parentheses so that maybe you can see this a little bit better. Async operation times 100, because if not, it's going to return in decimal points, plus percent. So it's going to say 0 to 100%. Bar dot fill amount is equal to mathf dot clamp 0 1. So that means 0 to 1. So whatever this is going to be 0 to 1. And that's going to be the async progress. So however far it is in loading, that's what it's going to be. And then it's going to yield return null. Let me save that. Hop back over here. I think I put it on this. I really did a bad job naming all this stuff and having the scene organized. So you want to drag your number text into the loading text field, and then scene to load is going to be level 1 or whatever you have it named. And I'll show you what's going to happen. It's going to take you directly out of the scene into level 1. Okay, so and you notice my fade in on level 1. It's the exact same thing as I have on everything else on the main menu, except I have the image flipped, and I have a new animation on it, and I called it fade in. And basically the animation is recorded in reverse. So let me show you what that looks like. It's not recorded in reverse. It's just doing the opposite of what the of what it did. So it'll start with the screen black and then fade out to show the scene. So anyway, so let's go back to our main menu. If you did everything like I have it, this is what it should look like. Let me move this little window out of the way. Put it over here. Alright, I want to maximize my window. This is what it should look like. Alright, there's our loading. And here we go. Ready to fight bad guys. Shoot them with R1 bullet. Oh, and collect health. There we go. Alright, and for some reason I still have that there. I'm going to have to look into that. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I'm going to do the player death stuff next, where when you die you'll have a game over panel probably, and then it'll reload the game, so it'll start you back at the main menu. Alright, well, if you like this video, like and subscribe, and consider support me on Patreon. Thanks.